Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever and however you are listening. Welcome to the Valley Life podcast, where we're taking theology from the classroom to the living room, storeroom, stockroom, showroom, workroom, weight room, and water closet. My name is Vinnie, lead pastor of Valley Life Community Church. Today we're in a series called Cool People Doing Cool Things, and I am with three very cool people doing an amazing thing. Alfred and Jewel Ottosson, and forgive me, remind me your daughter's name? Adra. Beautiful. Welcome. And so you guys are serving with Mission Aviation Fellowship and getting ready to head out of Dodge into the mission field. So if you don't mind, maybe just introduce yourselves, tell the listeners a little bit about what you are doing.
Yeah, I'm Jewel Ottosson.
My name is Alfred, and this is our daughter Ada. We have two little boys as well, 3 and 2 years old, Eskil and Emric. And we work with Mission Aviation Fellowship to be sent out to the Democratic Republic of Congo. In a couple weeks here, we'll go to France for language school, and
So for our geographically disinclined, where is the Congo?
Congo is in the very heart of Africa. It's a giant country. It has a very small strip of coast to the Atlantic Ocean, but then it kind of goes as a balloon into the center of Africa. Yeah.
And then as you guys serve as missionaries, there's a bunch of different ways that folks take to the mission field. What's going to be your particular focus or role as missionaries in the Congo?
Yeah, so I am with MEF as a pilot mechanic. So my specific role will be to fly an airplane into isolated parts of Congo, carrying personnel, missionaries, cargo, all sorts of stuff, and where they normally otherwise could not go, or it would be very dangerous to go. The mechanic side, we maintain our own airplanes, so I'll do that as part of my my tasks, so to speak. Yeah.
And then, Miss Jewel, will you have something specific you feel called to, or are you along for the ride and being a wonderful wife and a loving mother? Which is plenty mission enough. Right. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean that's not less than by any means.
Initially, I will probably just focus on home. My hope is, to get involved in something on the ground. There's internally displaced people in the city we'll be living. So there's plenty of opportunities in many different ways. So kind of, feeling things out. But initially, home, because they're all young and we have to figure out school. So.
Yeah. Awesome. So you'd be essentially living just as a cultural missionary, right?
Yes.
Just living the light of Christ in the everyday.
Yep.
Awesome. Very cool. So again, for listeners who may not be familiar, what is MAF? You mentioned the aviation. So what do they do?
Yeah, it was founded in 1946, or that was the first flight, and since the beginning till now, we are driven by our vision to see isolated people changed by the love of Christ, and we do that through our mission statement, which is serving together to bring help, hope, and healing, and that kind of encapsulates what we do. So we work in 12 different countries, I think it is, around the world, and each program looks a little bit different because the needs are different. So. Congo specifically, people are isolated because of its vast geographical area with deep jungle, terrible roads that are falling apart, and huge ongoing civil unrest with 120 different militia groups fighting for different reasons, making it very dangerous to travel. A 50-mile trip sometimes would take a week by car, and we can make that very easy in an airplane.
Yeah.
So that's kind of we fill the logistical piece, or we solve those problems for a lot of other organizations that don't have the means to do that, or the expertise, if you will. So we kind of fill that gap for mission organizations and different ministries in Congo.
Yeah. Are there additional specific opportunities or challenges do you anticipate as you guys serve there? You mentioned the logistics, the roads, and the distance, and the dense jungle.
Yeah. That's the main reason why we are there and why this is incredibly valuable. Now, we haven't been there yet, so a lot of what we speak of is what people tell us that have been there, and the common consensus is like it is like a life-saving ministry. Both physically with, we fly a lot of medevacs and doctors around and patients, but also to spread the gospel as well, to provide eternal healing and hope. Sorry, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think from my end, like being at home, the challenge or difficulty will be the poverty. And teammates of us have recently told us about the street kids. And so when we go out, me and my kids, it'll be like, oh, wow, this is not, like what we have as a family is not the reality for a big portion of this population. So I think seeing that on a daily basis, and the difficulty will be not hardening my heart or my children's hearts, and engaging to stay soft and tender.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine it'd be easy to be confronted with that need every single day until you don't see it anymore.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And these, a lot of the social issues that we see in Congo, there's really no end in sight right now for these things. So it's kind of, having a realistic perspective of what we're there for, I think will be a challenge. Because there will always be needs to be met. And, to kind of gauge our role will be a challenge for us as a family, I think. Yeah.
So there's mission work, there's aviation, and there's aviation mission work. What was the draw for that for you, Alfred?
So I grew up as a missionary kid in Nepal, and my dad worked in medical missions there. So lived there for 6 years. Then I moved back to my home country, so to speak, in Sweden, where God showed Himself to me, where I found out that He is a personal God who wants to be close to me and involved in my life, what I do, not just something above there that is not involved. And I was 12 years old at that time, and but it was not until like high school and after high school where God really started shift my mindset around towards gearing my life to following Him with everything that I do, because I up till high school I wanted to pursue studying history or philosophy. That changed when we had a project, and one of my teachers gave me the task of researching African conflicts and child soldiers, and that really stuck with me. That this was such a tragedy that it was kind of like, well, what can I do? Or is there anything I can do?
Yeah.
And that didn't quite take any practical form until I went to a one-year Bible school after high school, and that's when really God started to reshaping a lot of things in my life, and I discovered I need to seek Him first in everything that I do, and then stay as close to Him as possible, and then everything else will flow out of that. And so that eventually led me back to I want to serve, and I have some context in missions.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see myself as a teacher or an evangelist, and so I had to discover how I was geared, and I found Mission Aviation Fellowship and started looking into, is that something that I could do? So I applied to Moody Aviation up in Spokane, Washington, and got in.
Yeah.
Was very nervous because I had no technical background. So they train you in theology or a Bible and as a aircraft mechanic and then a pilot. So I was looking forward to the pilot side, but not so much the technical side, and that's what you had to go through year 2 and 3. So. So I was pretty nervous for that. So it was a lot of learning. But
How about for you, Jewel? When you met Alfred, was this kind of the direction of his life already, or was this like a bait and switch? Hey, history and philosophy teacher. Oh wait, no, African missionary and a pilot.
No, he was pretty set on it when I met him, which was nice.
Yeah,
actually,
I can imagine.
There's men that want to be missionaries. This is great.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah. One of our values, one of the reasons I told you guys before we started recording was we wanted to we do a podcast so that we could push content outside of the building instead of drawing people here. We could push it outward, and so we talk about, it's a little tongue in cheek, but taking theology to wherever the people are. Right. And it, what I appreciate about mission work and even your guys is, that's the living, practical extent of doing that, right? Fulfilling the Great Commission to the ends of the earth, from Acts 1:8, and so it's awesome. I'm so excited for you guys and grateful. Can you share maybe a story of hope from your work in ministry with MAF? I know you guys haven't landed officially yet, but I'm sure there's stories of hope along the way. Would you guys have something you could share?
Yeah. I loved learning more and more about this field as we got our assignment, and then we did as much research as we could. And we learned that one of our partners there is a group of pastors who started a peace reconciliation group, and they go into sometimes very hostile areas, and they mediate peace between warring tribes.
Wow.
And they've successfully mediated peace in the past, and I think that is just incredible. And it is in the common belief in Jesus that they can come together and forgive each other and kind of try to start and build a new future together. I think that is absolutely incredible, and why that is not in the world news, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, it's the Congolese have really stepped up to the vision of reaching their own people, that this is our country, and really taking ownership over it, which is very encouraging to see.
And then how about a prayer request? Is there something we can be praying for as you commence your work?
Yeah, I think the most immediate and practical prayer request is language learning. Because we will be in France for a year learning French, so we need lots of prayer. The little I have started on Rosetta Stone is, I was in tears one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
The grace to do that.
Yeah.
To set a good foundation, really, in language and humility.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I think we can obviously pray for that. And I think there'll be benefit to being immersed in it once you're there. Mm-hmm. And then I think, not to be too charismatic, but I think if we look at Acts 2 and the gift of the Spirit, giving the ability of the disciples to speak and preach in the language that the people needed to hear. Absolutely. I think there's some spiritual undergirding we can trust for God in that.
Yeah.
Especially as you guys devote yourself to it.
For sure.
Yeah. What's some of the hope that you would like to see as you begin your mission work? What's some of the things, if you said after we're present in the Congo, we'd like to be able to look back and say this was something we were able to do?
Yeah, as we've talked about it, it's, you come to missions as a young person with all these big dreams, like I always pictured myself like a Heidi Baker, gathering all the orphans. But I think as we've matured and walked, especially as young parents, it's like, we're like, oh, you know what? The most important thing I think to us, like our hope for missions, is that we've been faithful to whatever God has asked us to do. We've stayed humble towards the Congolese, towards our teammates, and that people have walked away saying, wow, I love Jesus more because I sat with the Ottossons at their dinner table, or we had cookies at their house. So, yeah, I think that has become our hope. And one more hope is that our kids would see those three pieces of our lives and say, I also want to enter service to the King and follow him and love him. So, yeah, I think, does that sum it up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Excellent. I didn't put this in our pre-show notes, so forgive me for dropping it on you right here.
Improv.
Yeah, a little improv. What role do you see the local church in mission work that you guys are undertaking?
From the United States?
Yeah. For let's say for even for Valley Life,
Yeah.
what role would a church like Valley Life have in your guys' work as missionaries in Congo?
Yeah. Well, you can definitely pray for us.
Yeah.
And remember us. There'll be times where I'm sure we'll feel very isolated and question, like, why are we here and why are we doing this to our family and all those things. So, keep us in your prayer, and please let us know that you're praying for us. That's always very encouraging. You can send a little email or something. So since yesterday, we're actually fully funded in our month-to-month basis. But later on, perhaps there might be room for financial support. Or if not us, then find another missionary to support worldwide, to send them as well. So, yeah.
I think it also gives the local church that opportunity to fulfill the whole of what Jesus has commissioned, like from Jerusalem. Judea, and then to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
So we get to invite Valley Life or any other local church into that and engage their hearts for the Congolese, because we'll be in Congo. But any other, like a missionary in China can grab the hearts of people and focus their hearts on the people of China. I think also just in a very practical sense, friendship. Like when we come home, we've lived a completely different life.
Yeah.
Like culturally, all the norms are different. So coming home and just having friends that can understand, like, you're a little bit weird right now.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still love you. So
Yes.
I think even that is I find great comfort in we can come home and be with friends, and they're going to laugh with us and they'll understand.
Mm-hmm.
When maybe the people at the store are just going to look at us and be like, that family's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
To have a community that will receive you back
Absolutely.
is huge to know.
Yeah.
And just to spin off what Jules said, it is a partnership, if you will, between the local church and people going out in missions. That it's not just about the missionaries going out, but we're a team and we go together. There's a few that physically go, but we couldn't go without people behind us. Yeah. And so just want to strengthen that point, that it's a very important partnership that we have. Yeah.
And I think that Christ in the early church in Acts sets that paradigm, or sets that relationship, right?
Yes.
We think of Paul as this isolated missionary because we talk about his name, but he was with Luke and Barnabas early on, and John Mark, and he was always commissioned by churches to go out and fulfill the mission that Christ had given him. He wasn't a lone ranger by any means. Yeah. Yep. Before we get into my favorite part, the lightning round, if those who are listening or watching want to get more info, they want to make contact with you, maybe even they want to support you in prayer or even continue to support you financially, where's the best way to get a hold of you guys and make contact, or even sign up for that prayer list that you mentioned?
Yeah, so about the prayer list, we send out 4 letters a year. So every 3 months, we send out an update, how we're doing, and prayer requests. So the easiest way to sign up there is to go onto MEF's website. It's mef.org/Ottosson. It's spelled Ottossson. And you can sign up for prayer letters. You can see past issues of the prayer letter there as well. And that's the same place where you would make donations if you feel so inclined. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
You can also email us. My email is A, as in Alfred, Ottosson at mef.org. Jewel is J, Ottosson at mef.org.
Super easy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Ready for my game?
Yeah.
All right. So the lightning round, this is just a silly way to help folks who are listening get to know a little bit more about you guys personally, in addition to the amazing mission you guys are going to undertake. So you just give me your first response, no pressure, no judgment, maybe a little. So I'll give you two options.
Give context?
You can absolutely give context. Everyone always asks me that. So yes, absolutely. So I'll just give you a couple options. You give me right away what you think. So coffee or tea for your morning drink?
Coffee.
Coffee, okay.
With lots of half and half.
Lots of it. All right, just similar to my wife, Sherry. If you were going to stream TV, would you go Netflix or Disney?
Netflix.
Netflix, okay. If you're going to talk to somebody, would you take a phone call or prefer a text message?
Probably a phone call.
Phone call. My man, all right.
Yeah.
I knew I liked you. All right, morning breakfast, toast or eggs?
Toast.
Toast. All right, translation of the Bible, ESV or NIV?
I'm going to go ESV.
Yeah, I knew that one. I cheated. If you're going to work out, cardio or weights?
Cardio.
Social media or social networking? So meeting with friends or being online?
Oh, definitely meeting with friends.
Excellent. Music or podcasts?
I'll go with music.
I'm not going to take that personal. All right. Apple or Android?
So I got my first smartphone like 2 months ago.
Excellent.
Yeah. And it happened to be an Apple. So.
Okay, my man.
Yeah.
It's because you have the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So this might answer the next one. High tech or low tech?
Low tech.
Low tech, all right. That's quite all right. Big party or small gathering?
Small gathering.
Jogging or hiking?
Hiking.
Okay. And then couch or recliner?
Couch.
Excellent, my man. Excellent. Well, hey, I am so appreciative that you guys give of your time. Is it okay if you share your date that you're going to be leaving?
Yeah. So we'll be, we've got our tickets for January 2nd.
Wow.
So our last Sunday at Valley Life will be on the 31st.
Okay.
So make sure to catch us before then.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, if you want to not just hear and see the Ottossons, but want to meet with the Ottossons, you got short time.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
especially depending on when this is published, right?
Yes, well, we'll get out this week, so that way,
okay.
before Christmas, that way folks can make sure they've got a couple Sundays to connect with you.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else you'd want to share with folks listening or watching later?
I think we said most of it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, I, again, so appreciate you guys giving up time with such a close date for leaving. Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, I just say thank you to Valley Life,
Oh,
first
yeah.
of all, to welcome us in as kind of strangers and kind of sojourners, like coming in and then leaving. It's been such an encouragement to get to know people and the hospitality that you've shown. And we're just so blessed to get to know you and worship with you here.
Thank you, my friend. The blessing is mutual.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to the Valley Life podcast for Alfred and Jewel. I'm Pastor Vinnie, and as always, God bless you.